Morning. It is Tom Grody, and I have Jeanne Heald with me this morning. We have a little bit of a delay, so we're going to have to try to not do a lot of back and forth. I'm out at Hocking Hills, but let me give a quick introduction, and I'm going to turn it over to Jeanne. But Jeanne is a very, very good friend of mine, and I've known her. I first met Jeanne. I met you when I was 16, and I broke my leg. And who came to the rescue but Jeanne Heald, and she basically helped me. A nurse practitioner helped me recover. So it was really cool. Michael Cavan says hi, by the way, and she helped me recover. And I was 16 years old. Of course, I was not out, and little did I know the long history we were going to have and what was in our future. But Jeanne went to OSU and met the love of her life in 1968, and they're still together. Her name's Susan. You're going to hear all about this. And then they both had a business together, Riverview Center for Orthopedic Rehabilitation. And then Jeanne had a kind of a second career at United Way, doing very good work, and currently is the Director of Business Development at Stonewall Columbus, helping the center thrive, helping our community thrive, giving back and doing great work. And Jeanne, I'm so happy you're here today. I'm going to let you go ahead and share your values and superpower. And thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure, and it has been a very long time. So I've seen you grow. I've seen you really become such an incredible leader in our community. And, you know, there's just not enough of people who have stepped up and stepped out and contributed to the change. Tom and I spoke briefly as we were preparing for the call, and yes, and I have been together 53 years, or will be in December. But when we came out, well, there was no coming out. I have no coming out story. Everything was under wraps. You know, you hid it. You really were psychologically, quote, disturbed. We had psychological codes for our love. So life has changed, and I'm so pleased to see that youth today have not only the support of their community and their parents and their families, but really the nation has embraced this. And you know, we all wear and share our pride colors so brilliantly. So yes, we've been together since 1968, but we got married in 2013, and that's a picture of that. And there's kind of a great story around our wedding. We got married in 2013 in the same church that my mother was married in 1949, and it's called the Church of the Transfiguration. It's an old church, but it's really known as the little church around the corner. And the reason it has that moniker is that in the early 1800s, well before the Civil War, the theater district was located in that area on the southern end or the more downtown area of New York City. So a very famous actor passed, and no church would bury him because he was, in essence, in those days, openly gay. Everyone knew of his lifestyle, and no church would take him for his burial. So the Church of the Transfiguration did, and everybody acknowledged that by saying, we are so grateful to the little church around the corner, basically from the theater district. So I thought it was just really an amazing story that we chose to go back there because it was legal. It was the same church that my mother was married in, and I'm sure we stood on the same spot. My mother passed many, many years ago, so she was not at my wedding. And that it had that amazing history for the gay community. So it kind of really tied everything together. And then that sure is us openly riding in a great carriage in Central Park. And I want to tell you, police officers on horseback, so many people in the park just acknowledged our day and were so warm and grateful. The second picture there is a picture of my nephew and my great nephew and his wife/mother. And that's in there because Susan and I were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to raise my nephew for many, many years when he was a youngster. So although we didn't have our own, we had that wonderful experience. And as I'm sure for most of us, family is incredibly important. The picture right below that is a lot of my chosen family, and we used to have a home at the Outer Banks for many, many years. And it was always a ritual that we would all spend, 10 days there at Thanksgiving. The travel pictures are just because Susan and I have loved to travel, and we have been very, very fortunate and privileged to be able to do that. We made it a priority, and it was just a great thing for us. It's a wonderful opportunity if people have it, but it brings joy to both of us, and the world is an incredible place. And it's wonderful to be able to share it and to appreciate the people who live in other parts of the world and what their customs are. And it teaches you humility. I mean, there's no question. And then, of course, I think today it's all about what's political. And I think it's important for all of us to step up for all the things that matter. We do need more love and less hate. We do need to take care of our entire community and not isolate. And we need to acknowledge our white privilege, which clearly I have. And I am very willing to acknowledge that, but also to help use that to create change in this world. So my values, the first one is kindness. And I don't think you should step out your door if you're not going to be kind, or at least try to be kind every day. That tiny thing that you do makes a difference in someone's life, and it is reciprocated over and over and over again. So when we talk about how to change the world and how to be more inclusive, start with being kind. If you just think of it that way, you don't have to work so hard. You don't have to think about what's politically correct and what's not. If you're kind, you're going to make the right decisions. I'm very grateful. I said that earlier, but I have had a very blessed life. I just have, I have been touched by people who love me and care about me. I have been fortunate to have good health, family that loves me, chosen family that loves me. I'm very grateful for each and every day and everything that it brings to me. I am grateful for the woman that I share my life with. It would not have been the same without her. I would not be the same without her. I'm grateful for all of those things that has brought me. Adaptability. Tom talked a little bit about my career, and that really is one of the places where I think I've experienced the most adaptability. I started out, spending a little bit of time at home because I was raising a small child. I had the opportunity to work in a great medical practice. I adapted to become then being the owner and boss of that practice, which was kind of a step. First of all, it was you had to adapt to change. You had to adapt to now being somebody's boss. I had to adapt to being a business leader and a business head, and try to put my mind around that, and also learn the skills necessary. And then when that career ended, I had to become adaptable to figure out what was my next phase. And for me, it was nonprofit. And it was such an amazing experience to be able to go out and really use my skills to help others, often many who were less fortunate than I, but also just to be able to look in the community and see what's going on and say, boy, there's a lot of work that needs to be done here. And right now I'm blessed to be at Stonewall. I was at the United Way before that, also representing the LGBT community, but there's so many people out there who need our help and our support. And, I'm preaching to the choir with Tom here, but I think if we could all just do a little bit to help others every day, whatever it is, start with being kind, then maybe a little something else, pay for that person's coffee, do whatever you need to. It matters. And then wisdom is my last value that I've chosen today. And it's not because I'm wise, but because I've appreciated wisdom from others throughout the years. I was in my very early 30s when my mother died, and Susan lost her mother close to the same time. So we kind of grew up without that female wisdom in our lives, and you really miss it. So I learned then, and I think I have followed that ever since, is to listen to people that I think are wise, to seek out people that I think are wise. Some are personal friends, some are family, some are just people in our culture. And wisdom just gives you so much back. It gives you a place to start, it gives you a sounding board. So listen to those that you think are wise, follow some of their examples, figure out what's the best message for you to adapt into your own life. But wisdom is something that I treasure. And finally, that brings me to rounding it all out with empathy. And if you can empathize with one person and really empathize, and I think everybody that's going to be listening to this understands what that means, you will change the world. You will make the world a better place if you can empathize with the people that you come in contact. If you can think about what's really going to change for them, what it means to understand in their time, in their at that moment community, but be empathetic about what their past has been and what brings them to the place they're in today. And maybe you're not comfortable with where they are today, or maybe you're not comfortable where they were in the past, but empathize with what they're experiencing. And I think you'll find that the world is a better place. And you can help to do that through kindness, through empathy, and through just sometimes listening. So that's kind of my spiel for this morning.
It's a beautiful spiel. You are awesome. You are so damn awesome. We are so lucky that you have done all that you've done in our community. You've been a great role model, married for 53, or with Susan for 53 years is absolutely amazing. What an inspiration for me and others that are working so hard to try to stay in our relationships. It's a lot of work.
It wasn't work.
It's a lot of work, and it's it's worth it. And then raising that young man, beautiful thing, Jeannie. I don't even know if I knew about that. That is just amazing. But you have been around for a long time doing God's work, frankly, and I just want to thank you for sharing a little bit of your story. I could talk to you for an hour at least, but we went well past our 7 minutes, which was worth it. But thank you so much, Jeannie.
Thank you, Tom.
You're awesome. You are so awesome, folks. If you want to see Jeannie, just stop by the Stonewall Center. It's opening back up, I think. Wear a mask, get vaccinated, and we're going into Pride Month, and Jeannie's obviously does a lot of work helping that be successful over at Stonewall. But please support Stonewall, because when you do, you're supporting Jeannie as well as our whole community. So there you go. Thank you, Jeannie. Remember, even when it's really damn cloudy out, the sun is always shining, and you are the sunshine, right?
Right. Thanks, Tom.
Right. All right. You have a good day. Take care.